A group of 5 friends, Emma, Sean, Mira, Tom, and Lily, head to a remote cabin for what they believe will be an unforgettable weekend getaway. They are all eager for different reasons. Emma needs a break from work. Sean and Tom are thrill seekers who laugh off any notion of spooky places. Mira wants to document the trip for her travel blog, and Lily, quiet and thoughtful, is looking to connect with the others after years of drifting apart. When they arrive, they're immediately struck by the cabin's eerie isolation. The surrounding forest is dense, thick with trees that almost seem to lean in as they walk past. The cabin itself is weathered and silent, standing stoically as if watching their every move. Brushing off the unsettling feeling, they unpack and start their weekend, laughing, playing music, and setting up a cozy fire in the living room. As evening turns to night, they gather around the fire to swap stories. Sean suggests a ghost story, and soon they're sharing tales of the paranormal, growing tense and jumpy. But the laughter fades as they hear a faint scratching noise coming from one of the cabin walls. Tom, ever the prankster, goes to check, but finds nothing. They shrug it off, assuming it was a raccoon or just the old cabin settling. Around midnight, things start to feel off. Myra notices she's had the same conversation with Emma twice. Sean swears he's seen Lily walk by the door only seconds after watching her sit down. The sense of déjà vu is so subtle that they initially brush it off as tiredness or the tricks of a long day. But each friend begins to feel it in their own ways, small moments that seem to repeat themselves, a chill that runs down their spines, or an inexplicable heaviness in the air. Finally, midnight strikes, and suddenly everything changes. They're back at the beginning of the night, each sitting in the same place around the fire, the clock on the wall showing the exact time they arrived. For a second, no one says anything. They exchange confused glances, wondering if it's some kind of elaborate prank. But their laughter is nervous, their eyes darting as if trying to confirm each other's existence. Then the first loop starts to fracture. This time, things go darker faster. They hear louder noises in the cabin walls, and Emma notices a note scrawled in the corner of the bathroom mirror that she swears wasn't there before. It reads, "Don't trust the forest." They laugh nervously, thinking it's another joke, but when she shows it to the others, the tension is unmistakable. As they try to go to bed, they begin hearing whispers echoing in the halls. The voice sounds almost familiar, as though each whisper is their own voice calling out, pleading for help. They struggle to sleep, half convinced it's all in their heads. But as they wake up, midnight strikes again. They're back around the fire, the conversation restarting as if nothing happened. Now, they're genuinely afraid, questioning whether they're dreaming. They try to recount what happened, but the details blur, memories from past loops blending together. It's as if the cabin wants them confused and frightened. In every new loop, subtle changes appear. Myra's journal fills with scrawled phrases she doesn't remember writing. Sean's hands are stained with dirt, as though he's been digging. Tom begins seeing faces in the windows, looking in with empty eyes. The fear becomes raw and visceral, each of them forced to confront something deeply personal. Emma feels she's watching herself from across the room. Lily's reflection smiles back at her even when she doesn't, and Myra begins to recall memories she doesn't recognize. By now, they're desperate. They attempt to leave, heading into the forest in search of any escape route. But no matter where they go, they find themselves back at the cabin, arriving from different angles, almost as if the forest is shifting around them, leading them back. Sean, frantic, starts shouting into the trees, demanding to know who's doing this to them, only for his own echo to mock him back. Back inside, they pore over everything, searching for clues, finding symbols carved into the woodwork, hidden symbols beneath the furniture that grow more unsettling with each discovery. They sense that the cabin is a kind of trap, a living, breathing entity feeding off their fear. But as each loop passes, they lose more of themselves, struggling to separate past memories from current moments, and the friendships that brought them there begin to crumble. In the final loop, they try one last desperate plan. They sit around the fire in complete silence, hoping that staying quiet will allow them to escape the cycle. But as the minutes pass, the cabin grows colder, and one by one, they see shadows of themselves repeating actions from past loops, laughing, shouting, screaming until the figures dissolve like smoke. Finally, Tom snaps, convinced they need to burn the cabin down to break the loop. With trembling hands, he sets a fire, and for a moment, it looks like their plan might work as flames start to consume the cabin. But just as they're about to run, the room blurs, and they're back to sitting around the fire, unharmed, with no sign of the flames. The ending fades as we see Lily walking alone through the forest at dawn, determined to escape. She stumbles, exhausted, and as the sun rises, it reveals the cabin in the distance, untouched, just as they first found it. She sees her friend standing there, waving her in. She approaches slowly, realizing, in horror, that they aren't her friends at all, but ghostly echoes of them, forever trapped in a place that no one will ever escape. The camera zooms out on the cabin, quiet still, waiting for its next visitors, as a haunting whisper drifts through the trees. Welcome back.